Hey guys, welcome back to Grip Option Hub's channel. Today we're going to discuss another indicator, which I personally like, but that doesn't mean that it's similar to RSI or MACD. It's somehow a unique indicator that we can use for especially reversal trading and also trend following. All right, so let's get into it. As you can see below my chart, I've applied the Aroon indicator. You can easily go to the indicators of TradingView and type in Aroon, and here it is. And when you click on it, you will see it down below. However, I personally changed the colors to something I like. But before I tell you what the green and what the red mean, I should introduce these two lines and what they are. So the Aroon indicator consists two lines, all right? One, the Aroon up, and the another one is called the Aroon down, okay? So the interaction between these lines will give us ideas on whether we have to short or long, all right? So the Aroon up, which I personally like it in green, is this one, and this is the Aroon down, okay? So how does the Aroon indicator show us the trend and the trend shifts? When the Aroon down line is above the Aroon up, like right here, and when it remains so for a sustained period, it clearly shows a bearish trend, all right? Like right here. In fact, the crossover happened here until here, and the trend was bearish until the price recovered, all right? And right now it's consolidating, and that's why we should always analyze the price action with our own eyes and use a little bit of discretion. Because I think trading without discretion and only mechanical cannot be done by humans, all right? So if humans like us want to trade, I think a little bit of discretion must be present. Of course, mechanical elements like indicators or even other concepts can really help you, but the discretion is what separates human traders from robots and algos, okay? So, as you can see, we have started this day, for example, a little bit of high and then a lower low compared to this one. Let me zoom in. Compared to this one. And we have failed to move back higher, okay? Now, the first Aroon signal was right here when the Aroon down climbed above the Aroon up, and this was the first short signal of the day, okay? So if we would have entered here and put our stop loss above the recent high, we would have had two choices. First, we could have continued with this trade and remain in it until another crossover, a bullish one, occurred, okay? So here it is. This is the first bullish crossover of the day, and it's right here, okay? So if we would have exited the trade right at this moment, we would have captured the marginal profit, and if you even count in the spreads, I think it would have been a break even. But another approach we could have had is to let the Aroon indicator rise above 60 or 70%, okay? Now, I want you to focus on these percentages, all right? So when the Aroon down is above 70%, we can clearly call it a bear market with bearish momentum. And on the other hand, when the Aroon upline is above 70%, we can call it a bullish market, all right? So we could have had waited for the Aroon up to climb above 70% and remain there. I would also not count this one because this is a little peak and then it dropped. So you can wait for a few candles, 2 or 3 candles, and then you can decide whether you want to remain in the trade and keep it open or to close in profit or loss. All right. So let's see where the shift, the real shift that I'm looking for occurs. It's right here. All right. At 9 p.m. New York time. Okay. So let's extend this and yeah. We could have realized the 2.75 R profit from this trade, or we could have had closed earlier. If you have other exit criteria in your plan, you could have exited here, or you could have just trusted the indicator and exited right here with 2.7 profit, okay? So this is not bad if you are able to repeat it. It could be a high win rate strategy. But another method that I personally use and I like is to again add more discretion, okay? So we can, for example, target a certain level of liquidity. Like when we look back here, here's a low, but of course it's not a clear V-shaped low. And I don't like to set targets at these little consolidations. I prefer this area, okay? As you can see, we have a large consolidation relative to this one, and we have multiple lows here. So it's a clear sell-side liquidity pool, okay? So I would have targeted this level, and as you can see, the price have hit it and went back above, and right now it's consolidating after hitting it again. So using this method increased our risk reward ratio to almost 4, which is great in my personal opinion, because I always prefer lower risk reward ratios and higher win rates, and a 4 RR ratio is just perfect for me if I can catch one. Okay, so here's the most recent example that I could have shown you. Now, for example, if you're a binary options trader, what you can do, well, it's somehow similar, but we can even drop down to the 1 minute, because most binary options traders are short-term traders, okay? So, and let's clear things a bit and go back in time to the same day, yesterday. All right, so imagine that you're trading binary options on a platform like Pocket Option, and you want to enter a trade on this day. So what we can do, the first thing we can do is to follow each crossover of this indicator for 1 minute trades, okay? So let's see how it goes. So for example, we have a crossover right here on this candle. I will enter right here, and in binary options there are no stop losses or take profits, so we should ignore this RR ratio. And I'm going to execute a 1 minute or 60-second binary option. So in the next candle, when it closes, I mean I've entered on the close of this candle, and on the close of the next one, I will know my trade outcome. So let's skip. And yeah, it's marginally above our entry point, so this is a profit. But this is not a method that I really use, because I don't want to overtrade, and I know myself that I'm highly susceptible to overtrading. So I wanna, make my trade durations longer. Okay, so when I'm seeing the 1 minute chart, I'd like to set my expiration to 3 or 5 times the time frame. That means a 3 minute binary option or a 5 minute binary option. Okay, so let's see if we have executed a 5 minute binary option, how everything would have worked. So here's 1 minute, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, this is a loss. So if I would have traded this signal, I would have caught a loss here. However, this is not the end of our trading day, so let's move on to the next one. So still the market is bullish, as the Aroon tells us. However, we should wait for a crossover. All right, so here's the crossover I've been looking for. And as you can see, the Aroon downline is at 100%, which is above 70, obviously. And then we're going to execute our trade. So this will be a put binary option or a lower, and we're going to enter the trade as soon as this candle closed. All right, so this is when the Aroon printed this line. So you got to be a little quick around here, but for example, 2 or 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or even 10 seconds delay won't be a huge problem if you're right in your analysis. And we will wait for 5 minutes. We imagine that I'm executing a 5 minute binary options trade, and let's see how it goes. After 5 candles, 5 1 minute candles, I close this trade at a profit. Alright guys, so this is how you can trade with the Aroon indicator, but I really suggest that you use other indicators or concepts with the Aroon indicator like I do with other indicators, because using one indicator might not be the best way and result in the best outcome if you don't have a good eye for price reading and chart reading, or you don't use other concepts like, for example, price action or ICT concepts like I use them. So remember to use indicators with these concepts, or use them alongside each other. For example, use a moving average or another indicator with the Aroon for better results. And always remember to manage your risk, as you should do with any other trading strategy or indicator. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, as we're going to publish more strategy videos and look at other indicators, I mean the lesser known ones, and even the popular ones, and introduce some strategies that you can backtest and practice on demo before you create your own trading plan based on them. All right. So see you in the next one, and happy trading.